This is the next phase of the Penny Parker playstyle. This video is going to be split up into 3 parts: the tutorial, kind of how it works and like the actual mechanics behind it, as well as some limitations, and then lastly I'm going to show some applications and like in-game hypothetical uses. The timestamps are on screen. This is a tutorial. If you already know how to do it, you can probably skip this. Alright, here's how you do this tech. It's pretty simple, but it's also really tricky at the same time. The basic idea is that you're going to combine your stun and your web sling, and that's going to extend the range of your normal web zip, and I think it can about up to double it. The keyboard inputs are going to look something like this, where you're going to right click, jump, and then use your web zip. It's important that when you do this, you time it well. For it to work, 2 big things need to happen. Both webs have to land at the same time, and you have to be in the air when that happens. You can kind of see in these clips that there's 2 ways you can aim your web zip. You can kind of aim it, like in this clip, a little forward, or you can shoot it, wait till it's about to hit, then jump and flick down and use your web zip. I find that jumping and flicking down is a lot more consistent, especially at longer ranges. So I would advise practicing that instead of forward, because it's just more consistent at different ranges. To learn this tech, I would just go to the practice range and do it until you can get it down. It's pretty tricky to get consistently, but I think that's the best way to get it. I wouldn't recommend just trying to do this in your games randomly. If you have any questions, you can just leave them in the comments and I'll make sure I respond to them. Now, if this has helped you, I'm going to be making more videos on Penny's strats, buffs, changes, all the stuff going on with her. I'm going to ask you to subscribe, and I'm going to give a huge shout out to people who are publicly subscribed to me. This is the part of the video I go into the nerdy stuff. You can skip it if you don't like. This is how the tech works as far as I can tell. So when you shoot the web and your web zip, they both produce a web, and so when they land at the same time, the game registers them as the same object, and the momentum, like your web zip, attaches to both and like zips you to the farther one, because the closer one is done zipping you. It's a little jank. It's definitely not intended, and I don't know if they'll patch it. That's definitely a big problem in the future. I highly doubt it's bannable, but you know, use it at your own risk, because technically it could be considered bug abuse. But there's other like tech in the game like this where it's like probably not intended, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. The bigger problem with this tech that I have is that it's really hard to do and it's not consistent. I don't have a lot of time practicing with it, so I do think I could get it consistent, but the timing is close to frame perfect, I think. So with lag and all this other stuff, it makes it really tricky. On top of that, if there's objects in your way, it ruins it, because your web zip just has horrible interactions in general to objects. So you have to just be careful with how you use it. Like there, I got web bugged, so I couldn't do it. But here, because there's nothing in my way, I was absolutely fine. The other big problem with using this in game is that a lot of times it's just better to take a few steps than it is to set it up and waste both your cooldowns. If you just use your normal web zip 2, you get like half the distance, and you only use 1 cooldown, and you don't have to set it up. It's a little more consistent. Here especially, it's like you could just walk unless they're really holding hard. And then also your web zip does go decently far, so there's a lot of cases like in this clip where you just reach it with your web zip if you just used it. So this tech isn't game breaking, but I still think there are use cases for it. The first use case is to kind of do the flip the map, take high ground, get behind the enemy kind of stuff that Penny likes to do. Because you have more reach now, it's easier to do. Like in this clip, I just get behind them, I get to set up some mines on them, and then I get to shoot down on them and just really help my team out. I get to pick on their DPS, and then I'm just applying a lot of pressure and forcing them to back up and creating space, which is at the end of the day what you want to do on a tank. And then here I almost get the Bucky, and then I get to play life a little bit, and we just get to walk a lot because I kind of force them to play back a little bit, just by being behind them. So that's a big use case here, just getting behind the enemy and really allowing your team to walk up, just because of that extended range. This is just from a custom game, but I think the idea stands, especially on this map. This is a really hard map to take on Peni, like attack, but I think just by being able to get up to that spot, you can see the deck is hard, ignore the width, but by being able to get here, you're going to be able to flip the map. These have the same idea where you're going to just quickly get across the map way quicker than you could normally, and save some damage, flip the map, do your normal offensive Peni stuff. This one is sick. Really aggressive play, completely flips the map potentially, or lets you get a aggressive angle. Same thing kind of here to a lesser extent though, maybe play a little more conservative, but this is really nice high ground to be on. The other use case this is really useful in, and I think it's going to be easier to pull off in games, but yeah, all of these kind of just let you get back to point quicker, get to point quicker, and stop your team from being down a person as long if you die. This one in particular is really nice on this map because you kind of want to set up earlier rather than later. In this whole rollout, you place your nest down to get your movement speed. I'm just figuring out what you need, but I like this one a lot because you kind of just probably get to their choke before they do, so that's huge. Here is kind of one of the max distances. It's kind of a hybrid between the two because you're on offense, so it's not really a rollout in the same way. It's more of a dive, but you're also really early in the game. The final use case is combat. You can kind of use it to maybe reposition yourself, but as you can see, it's very hard to do while you're fighting someone. So I do wonder if this is practical. I do think if you could get it consistently, it would make it really hard for them to hit you, and you could potentially maybe place your nest down first so that's doing damage, and then you're also moving in these weird movement patterns. But you can see my friends are just kind of killing me repeatedly because I can't really get it. Like there you see there's a nice little misdirect, and I think that could potentially work, but the other problem is that it uses 2 of your cooldowns, and so I think you may be better off just moving normally. The real use case I could see in combat honestly is running away and playing life. You can see here this isn't really going that well for me trying to fight him, so then I try to see, okay, well what if I just run away, and it makes it a lot harder for him to hit shots, and potentially you could probably get away pretty easily if you try and do that, but I would not recommend right now using it to fight, but potentially if you get really good you could. If you made it this far, you probably liked the video, you probably learned something, so if you could like and subscribe, that would be great. Share this to all your friends that play Peni. I'm going to be making more videos on Peni's strats, buffs, changes, all the stuff going on with her. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure you subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see.